Greetings, everyone. It's great to be with you once again. Thank you for everything you're doing for the way of learning and growing, maturing, and serving. Today, our presentation is entitled On the Laws of Life, 18, Thou Shalt Ask. In this regard, I'll share with you a very poignant work of art that is quite beautiful and profound in its nature. I think you'll find it quite noteworthy. The work of art is done by Tamara Natalie Madden, and it's entitled Prayerful, or translated from the French into the English, Lamentation for Haiti, country of great spirituality and depth. I want to show you this in regard to our um, law that we're working with today, Thou Shalt Ask. In that regard, in August 1980, the 50th anniversary issue of the Rosicrucian Forum, there was an article entitled Living the Faith by Past Imperator H. Spencer Lewis. We'll follow up on that remarkable and telling article that includes an exposition of the important law of the cosmic, Thou shalt ask. Now, in this regard, Tamara Natalie Madden, who lived from 1975 to 2017, she passed away, or as Rosicrucian said, passed through transitions, at 42 years of age. She grew up in Manchester, um, Jamaica, and you'll see here a depiction of her on the left. Now, she was an artist, photographer, and professor, later living in the United States during her teenage years in Madison, Wisconsin, and later in the Atlanta area in Georgia. But in 1997, she was diagnosed with a rare genetic kidney disease called IgA nephropathy, or Berger's disease. Remarkably, she found a brother of hers when she went seeking in Jamaica who actually allowed to make a organ donation for kidney, that she was able to recover from that. She also used her art to help her deal with the uh, ailment in her recovery. And that's part of the symbolism of the bird on the shoulder of the figure on the right. For Tamara, the bird was a symbol of liberation, of spirituality, living life fully, overcoming ailment and disease. Later, Tamara when she lived and worked in the Atlanta area, she was a professor of fine art at Spelman College. Now, it's interesting in her early interest in art, and she also was a photographer. She wanted to pick people that she grew up with in Jamaica, and she wanted to show in their outward humble circumstances that they actually were persons of great dignity, great integrity. And when she painted them in a very realistic style, but she found that that didn't draw a lot of attention to the works, and people didn't take as note of them, of the inherent nobility. And so she asked, and this is where the law of thou shalt ask will come, what can I do to draw others to see the everyday dignity of all people? In the Rosicrucian tradition, we refer to the inner self, the master within, as giving the great sovereign within us, a great guide in our life. And she wanted to, in effect, draw that out in her own works. And while she was driving her car, she suddenly had an impression from her asking, thou shalt asking, that she would depict the persons that she knew in ways that would show them in saintly or deeply spiritual or religious attitude, like gods or goddesses, or persons that were royal figures, like kings or queens and so forth. And she was inspired to do that, and that actually draw forward her mission and message in life. The figure on the left here is actually entitled Mystic, and you'll see the intriguing design on the person's forehead, to do with this deep spirituality of Africa. The bird, again, the symbol of freedom, liberation, matching the bird on the right. The prayerful attitude of our figure on the right. There's mixed media. There's the application of gold leaf and the halo. She was influenced by various artists. One particularly was Gustav Klimt, the way he did his patchworks and elements design. But also she wanted to show patchworks of quilt because that's an important way to convey African, American, and Jamaican craft and culture. You'll see the hands are joined together in a petition, as we would say in the Rosicrucian tradition, a petition to the cosmic. The Rosicrucian tradition is not a religion, but if a person has a chosen faith, it can greatly help with the understanding of that tradition and its sacred texts. You'll see the cross in two forms here, one in the hand, also the one in the lower right here, and the spiraling design of the energy in nature, as well as the furling out here of the ribbon, again to suggest the energy and power, the divine nature. The work on the right was actually used to do fundraising and charitable work for the people of Haiti. Tamara had a deep sense of well-being of others, and she saw through her trials and struggles. She would go into classrooms and speak to students to dream a larger dream that if you feel inwardly something important you need to do, don't be held back by the naysaying of others. She was told by others that herself, for example, that she had no talent in art, and yet you can see before us someone who's wonderfully capable. Again, can use those discouragements to transmute. You notice the deep poignancy and depth and cosmic attunement of the figure before us. We'll apply that when we ascend to the heights of the mountain. This is she knew mountains in Jamaica, the mountains of Haiti, you know them in the United States and Canada and various parts of the world. We'll ascend the symbolic mountain that is a central theme in mysticism of growing up, becoming one with the one, having the direct experience of the reality, and applying that for our own health and well-being. In that spirit, I invite you now, having attuned with tomorrow Natalie Madden, her inspiration through the cosmic, her mission in life. Be drawn back to the deep spirituality that she represented through Jamaica, through Africa, in each of our own cultures. Feel the liberation of the bird, the beautiful symbolism of the circle, the endingness and the sense of eternity. The great dignity that is inherent in a human being and increasingly realizes and soaks up the divine within, the master within, and applies that for the well-being of others. This time then I invite you to follow the directions of the booklet, Lever 777, which I'll give you resources for towards the end of our presentation, if you're not familiar with the booklet already. But it's a special booklet to keep coming back to again and again, because it has a lot to do with the cosmic law, thou shalt ask, which I'll exemplify shortly and will apply. I invite you now to close your eyes as we prepare to rise to the heights of the celestial sanctum, highest point of spirituality and consciousness for the human being to experience. Something to come back to daily in meditation. It's very important to meditate daily, and we can go much deeper into life. We can be much more ourselves and all the energy that releases. We can unblock ourselves in a variety of ways, so we can shine forth the living sun, just like the prayerful figure in Tamara work exemplified to us. I invite you at this time with your eyes closed and lying down or seated, wherever you wish to be situated, as long as you can breathe in an unencumbered way. Focus on the present and we'll spiritualize it into the eternal now, the very presence of eternity. Let us enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breath, the great incoming and outgoing, like being by a seashore or a lakeshore, with waves lapping in, everything manifesting through vibration. So what the Rosicrucians refer to as the cosmic keyboard. Just enjoy the gentle rhythms of the breath. Just continue to enjoy the gentle rhythm. Just feel all there is to feel. Just continue to let go and let be. With each incoming of the breath, feel the increasing presence of the divine within. And invite you to extend your exhalation longer than your inhalation. And feel automatically then the relaxation response. With each extended exhalation, there will be a building effect, cumulative effect, increasing tranquility, imperturbability. Just continue to let go. Enjoy the calming effect. Soon we'll rise to the heights of the celestial sanctum, feeling a great sense of well-being and noblement. To do that, first we'll apply important law of the cosmic law. Thou shalt ask. And we'll do that in the following prayer and invocation, which I invite you to say with me. May the divine essence of the cosmic cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body, that I may commune with the cathedral of the soul. May my mortal consciousness be so enlightened that any imperfections of my thinking may be revealed to me. And may I be given the power of will to correct them. I humbly petition that I may perceive the fullness of nature and partake thereof, ever consistent with the cosmic good. So mote it be. I invite you now to sense yourself rising up above your dwelling or office or building you're in, above your neighborhood, above your local geographic area, your village, your town or city, or countryside. Now even above your county, your province or state. Just enjoy the exhilaration of the ascent, going faster and faster, using great inner spiritual force to rise up higher and higher. Now over your great country or nation, now over your continent and your hemisphere. And let us take in the entire temple of the earth, a beautiful blue jewel, the village spheroid, as we see below us the great weather systems and landforms and bodies of water. As the Earth rotates about its axis and see its satellite, the moon, revolving about it as we rise up higher and higher, faster and faster, beyond the speed of light as we transcend space and time, take in the other planets and their elliptical orbits and the great fiery ball of the sun, our local star. As we rise higher and higher, faster and faster, sensing the full range of all the vibrations of the octave of the cosmic keyboard. Rising higher and higher and sensing what Rosicrucians refer to as not only the cosmos, but the cosmic. That is the universal intelligence back of the universe. And all natural and spiritual laws that we learn in our home sanctums and in our Rosicrucian monograph studies weekly. So we continue to rise up higher and higher, way beyond solar system, past myriad stars and stellar phenomena and the black holes balancing the universe, past nebula and asteroids, quasars and pulsars, and sense that we're in a great arm of an even larger body, the Milky Way galaxy. Let us exit out from this galaxy and look back at its spiraling arms, rotating about its center. There's a great black hole. As we continue to rise higher and higher and see other galaxies and nebula and the great cosmic web connecting the stars and the planets. In awe as we hear the music, the spheres, a harmony of the spheres, of which all creativity and creations back on Earth mimic. We rise higher and higher, faster and faster, increasingly turning over to the divine within to lift us upward as we'll apply the law of correspondence. Whereas we rise higher and higher, correspondence will go deeper and deeper within ourselves to the very presence of the divine within. Enjoy the exhilaration of the ascent, which is our birthright. Feel increasingly our true and divine nature and guide the divine within, the inner self, the master within. He knows all these things and more to help guide us in our living, to heal us and to be of service as we rise higher and higher. In awe of the temple of the divine, the entirety of creation. At a certain point, you may sense amid the galaxies and nebula that the entire universe is rotating about a great cosmic axis spoken of by ancient philosophers and mystics. You sense the presence of it move towards its center, its midway point. When you reach that center, that midpoint of the great cosmic axis, let us slow up and dwell there, taking in the stupendous harmony and motion of the cosmos. The great macrocosm mirroring us as a microcosm. As we dwell now in silence, center of the cosmos, at the center of our being, at the heights of the celestial sanctum, its highest point of consciousness. Let us be still and silent for a while before we undertake another spiritual operation of the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order M1. Let us apply further the instructions of the booklet Liber 777. I invite you now to mentally create or visualize your personal celestial sanctum, inspiring sacred space, which may be modeled after a temple on earth that is very important to you, or maybe someone's place in nature back on earth has a special significance to you. Sacred grove, high hilltop or mountaintop, with an expansive view suggesting consciousness of the cosmic, or a vast view over a lake or ocean. Fill in the sights and sounds and impressions of your celestial sanctum. You may wish to picture as well stained glass windows or other artworks depicting Rosicrucian laws and principles, inspiring, ennobling you. You may wish to sense the presence of others on the conference call with us, and even the Grand Lodge and Supreme Grand Lodge officers of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc conducting a sacred ritual in a temple, a mystical convocation. Feel in the sights and sounds, impressions, the overall psychic sense impressions, the deep sense of spirituality and eternity, your celestial sanctum. Once you've filled in your impressions, let us be ready to release this mental creation. He's saying, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. Now, having applied again, cosmic law, thou shalt ask, and the law of cosmic attunement, let us dwell, applying the law of silence now, and feel all there is to feel. Indeed, feel all there is to feel, and all that can be felt. Find your mind wandering, just lovingly and gently bring it back to the discipline of the breath, the great incoming and outgoing. Just as the universe was said to have been created by divine breath and the going forth of the word, so we as microcosms, perfectly mirroring, matching the macrocosm, conduct our meditation. Soon we'll apply another spiritual operation of the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc. Just continue to be receptive. Just continue to let go. Feel increasingly the presence, the divine wind within, our true guide in nature. I invite you to join with me as part of the Silent Council in conjunction with the Council of Solace, the Rosicrucian Order Amorc, to radiate from the depths of our hearts and minds with the assistance of the divine within, love and well-being to all those who have petitioned Rosicrucian order for guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all those who have petitioned the affiliate bodies of the Rosicrucian order for guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all those you know who are in need of guidance and healing. And let us radiate, finally, love and well-being to all sentient beings throughout the universe who are in need of guidance and healing. Just let the radiations of love and well-being flow out like a great floodlight, a great flowing of water gushing forth, filling the cosmos, reaching all in need, using the infinite resources on the infinite plane through the divine within. Just as we felt exhilaration rising to the heights of the celestial sanctum, we can feel now the exhilaration of the great radiations of love and well-being. Just first use great inner spiritual force, but then gradually surrender to the divine within to take over in this process. It knows exactly how this is to be done. And at a certain point, I think you'll find the radiations of love and well-being will speed up, and you know you're reaching those in need. You no longer need to make any conscious effort. As the divine within takes over, and we fully identify with it as our true nature and guide. And then surrender again and experience and be sensitive in the silence. Soon we'll formally conclude this period of sending a metaphysical aid, but we'll continue our period of meditation a while longer. When we conclude the period of sending a metaphysical aid, we can continue in mind with the idea that the radiations of love and well-being will continue as a way of life and as part of our mission in life. I invite you now to say with me, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. So mote it be. And let us continue to dwell at the heights of the celestial sanctum. Having applied the law of service and intensified the application of the law of cosmic attunement, just continue to surrender to the divine within. Before we begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum, you may wish to apply one more time cosmic law, thou shalt ask. If there's a particular petition, the cosmic you would like to make at this time, you may wish to do so. But ensure it is for something for the well-being of oneself, for others, and it's something that you cannot readily solve or resolve by other means. If you wish to do so, please proceed now. With clarity, great sincerity, and emotional charge as to the seriousness and importance of the matter. When you've made your petition to the cosmic, let us continue to dwell in one with the cosmic mind, experiencing as the cosmic experiences, being the cosmic, assuming the cosmic now, at one with the one. Before we formally conclude this period of meditation, I invite you to invoke with me the law of gratitude, which will intensify further our operations that we've set in motion, and the application of the law of cosmic attunement, by expressing our thanks and gratitude to all those who have taught us well, to all those who have loved us well, to all those who have sacrificed well on our behalf, fortified by their example and the high standard of the master within. Let us begin now our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum, moving at tremendous speed, way beyond the speed of light, past the myriad galaxies, nebula, stellar phenomena, quasars, and the pulsars, experiencing the harmony of the spheres, inspiration of all creativity, and awe of stupendous harmony and order all about us. You see in the distance the Milky Way galaxy. As we move towards it, let us plunge into the great arm where we dwell. Past the asteroids, the rogue planets, the nebulae, the cosmic webs connecting the stars. You see in the distance the beautiful elliptical orbits, the planets of our solar system. Great fiery ball of the sun, our local star, beautiful blue jewel of the earth, the temple of the earth. We return back to it in the hemisphere where we left off, our continent, a great nation or country. Province or state, our county, our local geographic area or village or town or city, and now our neighborhood, and invite with you to say with me the following prayer and invocation. May the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum. So mote it be. And let us now descend on the office or the home or building where we left off in the room. And we're ready and feel ourselves re-energized, rested, revitalized, remade, reintegrated, regenerated. We wish to open our eyes and stretch, be all the more ready for the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Forum work this day and always. Thank you, everyone. In a way, we can see this wondrous work of art before us. Prayer for our lamentation for Haiti, in an all the more uplifted, all the more appreciative manner. Great depth within us to do what is right, humbly grow and learn, and to serve and to love, compassion for all. In this regard, we'll continue our workshop by saying that we'll consider a statement attributed to one of the great master mystics of the past, Master Yeshua, which closely ties in with the work that we're doing now. You recall from Matthew 6:33, a statement translated in this way or other similar ways. But seek ye first the kingdom of God or the divine, and his or its righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you. As mentioned earlier, the Rosicrucian order is not a religion, but it deals deeply with spiritual matters, deeply with scientific matters, matters of the humanities and the arts. Its laws and principles allow us to go more deeply in a comprehensive and unified way to understand these things. In that and sacred scriptures, a similar principle is we seek the divine, that many things will be added to us. We attune ourselves, we'll be able to move in harmony more. We'll be more guided to be of service to others. That'll assist our needs to be taken care of. Or as we've given, so shall receive. Sacred text will say in various forms. And one may wonder, well, how does that then tie up with the cosmic law emphasized by Past Imperator H, Spencer Lewis, in that issue of the Rosicrucian Forum? I'll give you the resources on after this presentation, where it's important, thou shalt ask. It's true for many things, no asking is necessary because we've already mastered the laws and principles sufficiently, whether they're in our career, in the various activities that we do, and our mental faculties and our emotional capacity are well enough to handle them. And then many things we'll find coming to us without explicitly asking them, or as we've served, it'll draw the law of cause and effect to us. Not that we did those things for that to receive. We did it to be genuinely of service, to be loving and caring, and develop compassion. And meditation helps us build up and be sensitive to all these things. For in meditation, when we come into cosmic attunement, we become the living, radiant embodiment of the virtues of love and compassion. As they get unblocked, it can flow. We no longer need to look to past traditions, past philosophers, because we're living, they are part of us. We're one with them. We know when we know that we know. But in this fashion, thou shalt ask, there are times, and some would describe in an outward worldly way, an emergency occurs, and it behooves us to act then. Now, it's true the Rosicrucians have the Council of Souls that we've acted on this evening. or this afternoon, depending on your time, your time zone, wherever you're on the temple of the earth, that one can petition our Grand Lodge for healing, for guidance. And we're having a particularly challenging time and don't feel up to it, that's perfectly reasonable. But we're also greatly encouraged in becoming self-reliant and self-masters and developing that, to apply the laws that we've learned in the monographs, the exercise that we've learned in the monographs, to help ourselves. There's a story that the Past Imperator H. Spencer Lewis gives in that forum, Rosicrucian Forum article to this effect, that I'll briefly mention that you can look up in more detail. But there was a Rosicrucian family and their young 2-year-old child in the rural area got up on the running board. This is in earlier days when the running board is common on vehicles. And the father didn't know the child was there. And then he started up the car and drove off. The child fell off the running board and got run over by the car. And immediately this child had been seriously injured. And the child was rushed to the hospital, of course. And the doctors and nurses would do what they could, and the child would have to rest overnight. And the parents were suggest they come home and rest. Now, the parents, in particular the mother who wrote to the Past Imperator H. Spencer Lewis about this matter, said at first she was very beside herself with pain and fear. What would become? Because you could have continued in that state, and she could have railed against life, saying, you know, how unfair is life? This could happen to my young, beautiful child. And why would the divine let this happen? And what does this mean? Is my life being ruined now? And all these things that we can have our imagination run wild on, especially when we let the outer self guide us. But she remembered there was a deep urging in her to say, there's many things in the Rosicrucian teachings and the weekly monographs on this that I know of. All those mystical exercises, like the one we did, Ascending to the Heights of Celestial Sanctum just now, they're on this matter. She'll see that of wallowing, letting the outer self guide her and live in fear. She turned to the divine within. She got down to business and went to her home sanctum. And all those sessions that we have were preparing for this moment. And she rose up into the cosmic, towered up into the celestial sphere like we did, made a petition to the cosmic like we did. She went deep into her being and applied the various laws, cosmic attunement, and more that we learned. And then she felt a deep sense of surrender. And she could feel the divine forces, cosmic, working through her. And then she felt a deep sense of well-being. And she knew that cosmic law fulfills. And she was able to go to bed and have a good night's sleep. And through her sleep, cosmic forces would continue to act through her. And the Imperator was deeply moved by this. She didn't feel the need to in those days it would have been send a telegraph to the Grand Lodge. But she did what the Grand Lodge officers would have done for her. And in this way, she came in to be a great loyalist for the Rosicrucian teachings and have a great, some would say faith, but in other ways deeper, a great knowing. Just like we know all these lessons we're learning, let us have great confidence in them. Let's give them our all in applying them, but apply the law of patience as necessary. And we will be surprised. Because the next day, for example, in this mother, the doctors and the health professionals were taken aback. They hadn't seen something like this before. The damage to the child's ribs were no longer apparent. All the damage was gone. The tremendous forces of the cosmic had gone into the child and uplifted. Just so in our own life, and those we challenge us, let us remember to always apply these. You see the exercise we do to rise up to the heights of the celestial sanctum. It's true, the one that I describe is particularly elaborate. But we can use our memory and momentum from it to rise up in a heartbeat to the heights of the celestial sanctum as become more proficient, move more towards self-mastery. Or if there's any situation where time is of the essence, the master within will come forward and allow us to do this with great rapidity and strength. and there'll be a deep sense of meaning in life. Now, you notice also the mother, there would have been intense emotion, and that helped being channeled and transmuted into a deep, loving motivation. So let's assure when we do our meditations, when we apply the Rosicrucian laws and principles, when we apply visualization or mental creation, or when we petition the cosmic to have that deep emotion, a genuine nature that will be of service to ourselves and others, with selflessness. And that will add to the impetus, as in the etymology of the word emotion, it will help set the laws into motion. In this way, too, we can be of a great service as workers in the Council of Solace, as we did today, as a way of life. As we come in and make the cosmic increasingly a co-agent or we're a co-worker with it, our life will be transformed. There'll be a great law of transmutation. There'll be the virtues will flow forward from us. A great sense of well-being will be with us. We'll no longer be easily phased. Optimism, creativity, and clarity of mind will come with us because our whole being is operating like a great symphonic orchestra together. And as each part of our systems work, as the autonomic nervous system, the autoimmune system, respiratory system, and many more nervous systems that we learn so much about in our lessons. Each one will add to our wealth, but there'll be a synergistic or multiplicative effect as well. But at times, let us keep petitioning the cosmic we generally need to, just like when we did that prayer and invocation to rise to the heights of celestial sanctum. In a way, live our life as a prayer, as one continuum meditation in this fashion. And indeed, when we seek first the kingdom of the divine, or in a certain sense, what that mother did was in fact seeking the kingdom of the divine for the well-being of her child, of her family, and the great radiations of love that would go to all as a surplus in that action. Similarly, on this matter, I'd like to say that we need to be very creative and imaginative in how we apply Rosicrucian laws and principles in the exercises. It's true we get set exercises, but we can use our creativity unique to our life and our career and our family and well-being, how to make adjustments in them. Because once we start to know the laws and principles, we know how to make our own exercises up, our own way of mastering our life. It's great to see how others are doing it, because often we'll get new ideas about, oh, I didn't realize you could apply that particular law that way, or the law of cosmic attunement that way, or that. This is when we're seeing others that are very proficient in some law or service or career or craft. You get new ideas. Same how we see people apply Rosicrucian laws and principles. Let us use our own imagination and creativity, which are enhanced by active meditation. It's true that we must always do these things with great confidence. And not wail if they don't work and see that we've been hard done by. There'd be a larger scheme of purpose why they had to occur that way. Maybe something much greater and better. In general, we'll find it is needed. And there's a certain lesson that we need to learn to humble ourselves, to be more open. Although each of our lives are unique in the way that we'll individually and creatively apply the Rosicrucian laws and principles, back of that is the universal pattern, which is self-mastery, which is truly coming into our full nature as a human being. So we increasingly soak up with each extended exhalation the presence of the divine within. Now, part of this is the different Rosicrucian laws and principles. There's a particular way in any given situation. Do I apply mental creation or visualization? Do I apply meditation? Do I petition the cosmic? In general, those exercises of others will be worked on in succession in a harmonious way, similar to we did when we rose to the heights of the celestial sanctum and applied those different exercises in succession. And we'll know deeply within us when we are to petition the cosmic, the divine within, just like with that mother. She felt that urge. It was time to go to the sanctum. and petition the cosmic, attune with the cosmic. It's true, sometimes we won't be in our home sanctum, but we can in tune with it inwardly in our mind, sense its presence and its vibrations. In a way, we'll live out our life as if being in the home sanctum, as if being as part of the full dignity of being a human being. That micro temple that is in our home is in our true home that we're working to reintegrate through the Christ consciousness or the cosmic consciousness. At this time, I'll ask Karen to paste in the chat the resources for you. And then after that, to upload a PDF document that has the same resources for you if you explore this topic more, as well as our weekly lessons, and the Rosicrucian Order and work. So by way of conclusion, what I'll say is that we've considered a very telling and beautiful article in the Rosicrucian Forum from August 1980, the 50th anniversary issue. It was entitled Living the Faith by Past Imperator H. Spencer Lewis. And we followed up on that remarkable exposition on the important law of the cosmic, thou shalt ask. In this way, we've continued to explore our Rosicrucian laws and principles and their creative expression and application for the mastery of life, harmonious living, and service. Thank you, everyone.